Hello and welcome to a new episode of TV Unleashed. I'm Sammy, that's Mandy. This is our post Super Bowl episode, and we will be back every Sunday at 7. We just kind of took a little hiatus due to football because I'm a huge football fan, even though I didn't have a horse in a race this time because Eagles and Patriots. I'm from New York originally, so Giants, and I live in Pittsburgh, Steelers. So basically, I was SOL until that commercial came on. Did you see that commercial with Beckham and Manning doing Dirty Dancing?
I heard it in the background, and I thought my mom had changed the channel and she was watching Dirty Dancing because I had a dog in the fight until through the playoffs because I'm a Saints fan, being partially from New Orleans. So I kind of had it up until we lost, but so I was all about the Eagles winning because I'm not a Patriots fan at all. But I did hear the commercial and then I saw it today, and that was a genius moment. Come on. I mean, you couldn't get better than that. It was anytime people can make fun of themselves, I dig it.
I loved it. It was just so funny, and you can tell both of them have a great sense of humor. And I bet that's their audition for Dancing with the Stars this season because it's an all-athlete season. So we could put few bets on that one of them will probably be on. But speaking of Super Bowl, the Eagles won, the Patriots lost, and Tom Brady.
I was thrilled. Anytime Tom Brady loses, I'm probably losing all of our fan base right now. Sorry guys, but anytime Tom Brady loses, it's a win for me. So
I'm probably going to join us in losing all our fans because I feel the same way. But I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that he wouldn't even shake the quarterback's hand from the Eagles. He kind of just walked off the field, and Giselle had to comfort him because he lost. And I think that's actually, by acting like that, he's setting a bad example for his kids because his kids are 7 and 5 or 9 and 5 or something, but they're fairly young. And I know he has 3 kids, but who cares?
He has 3 kids, and he has 1 kid from Bridget Moynihan, and then he has 2 from Giselle. And I remember when Drew Brees lost in the playoffs a couple weeks ago, I was devastated, and I remember seeing him shake the quarterback's hand and hugging them and being, because they literally lost in the last 2 seconds of the game. And I think the thing about Drew Brees that sets him apart from some other quarterbacks is that he respects his fellow athletes, and if somebody pulls out something that's really just insane, he's gonna say, "Great job, you did something amazing, go." And I don't think Tom Brady, he doesn't have that yet. He still has that punk ass mentality. So
yeah,
sorry, you lost.
And exactly. And you think at that age he would know how to grow up a little bit. Like I mentioned, he does have 3 kids, and I think he's setting a bad example because he's got to teach them. Sometimes you lose and you have to handle it graciously. Now I did hear that they hugged off screen. I didn't see it. I really wasn't paying attention, but because I really don't care about him. But I did hear that at first he didn't shake his hands, and I think that if that is true, that's a very classless thing for him to do. And if I'm wrong, I do apologize. But if that it is true, I just think he needs to learn in the future when you lose, you have to handle it graciously.
Exactly, and it's not like they lost by much. If they had lost by 30 points, then you go home and cry. But you lost by a couple points. I mean, technically you almost won, so and you've won 5 times, or you have 5 rings. I don't even have one.
I don't have one either. No ring.
Engagement,
no ring. Super Bowl or otherwise, I have no ring on my finger.
So I mean, it's you get over it and you go back and you hope for next year. There's always next year. You're fine. Go home. No one cares. It's over. It's over.
Exactly. And I do want to point out another reason why I was happy the Eagles won. It was their very first Super Bowl and their very first win, the first time they were actually in the Super Bowl. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I was happy because I didn't watch all of the game, but I followed it online, and when I was seeing the score, when I saw the final score, I was just like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. And it kind of reminds me when the Patriots keep winning. It reminded me of when that TV show Frasier, which I know you're going to get to in a minute, when Kelsey Grammer just kept winning and winning and winning the enemy every single year. I was like, you're done now. Stop winning. You're not that great.
Yeah, let someone else win for once. Although, and then speaking of Frasier, since you brought it up, we have some sad news to get into today. John Mahoney, who played Martin Crane, passed away at the age of 77. Apparently, he had been ill for a short amount of time, was in hospice care. And you remember Mandy, because we were both fans of the show. He played Betty White's boyfriend on Hot in Cleveland. Roy!
I love that show, and Hot in Cleveland to me is just a great show. And anytime an actor who was beloved and made people laugh, anytime they pass away, no matter how old that they are or how young they are, it's just sad because it leaves a little bit of a void. But it's a good thing that we've had these people in our lives for the amount of time that we did.
Exactly. And, we send our condolences to his loved ones. And it was really sad because it just seemed to come out of nowhere. And actually, as a matter of fact, yesterday before the Super Bowl, I was actually watching Frasier on Netflix and reminiscing on how much I grew up on that show and I love that show. And it's really sad. It's really sad. It's heartbreaking. This one hurts.
It hurts inside because we don't like to watch anybody die. One thing I have to bring up, going back to the Super Bowl, since we just kind of dodged away from it, was I'm having a really hard time again. Now you were saying you're just having a hard time with the death. I'm gonna have a hard time with something, and I'm probably gonna get crap for this, and I really don't care because we all know that I'm the one who doesn't care. Um, the Super Bowl halftime show, and I know that you and I have differing opinions on this one too. I actually, aside from his outfit, which was very conflicting, and I feel like he needs more male gay friends because then this wouldn't have happened.
He needs to call the
Um,
Fry guys.
yeah, because his outfit was very confusing to me. I didn't quite get the theme. Um, what was he wearing? I have to say Justin Timberlake really did a great job in the Super Bowl, and I loved his tribute to Prince because Prince is one of my favorite artists of all time, and I was singing and I was happy, and that's what I think the halftime show is about, is just taking a half hour to just kind of forget that there's a football game going on and people are angry and they hate each other and they're like, I hate you, Tom Brady. No, I hate the Eagle. Like, people are actually just supposed to be smiling, and that's kind of what he did for me. And he made and everybody was on Twitter saying justice for Janet and all that crap. And I have to say, I remember that night. I worked at a gas station and I had my mom tape the halftime show for me. And I remember seeing that whole thing where he ripped off her thing. And I still, to this day, think that was staged. No matter what anybody says, it was. So when they're all saying, oh, Justin Timberlake's horrible and justice for Janet, I'm like, are we still on that?
Seriously, that was like, what, 10 years ago now? Something like that?
14 years ago. Are we still
And we're still
talking
on
about
this?
that?
Oy, no, please, no. I'm gonna say, don't get me wrong, I did like the halftime show, but what I didn't like about it was so hyped up that there was gonna be a surprise guest, and it ended up being the hologram of Prince, which was wonderful. I loved that he played the tribute, which he said he was gonna do, but they kept making it seem like he was gonna have a surprise guest, and we were taking bets here about who it was gonna be. We're like an NSYNC reunion, maybe, we were gonna surprise us and bring out Britney. It was just like, and then it was like, oh, that's it. I mean, it was a great performance. I loved the tribute, but it seemed like they built it up to be much more than it was going to be.
But it was just like, I hate that people were downing it so much, and I hate that people are still talking about that whole thing. I mean, Janet Jackson posed with her boobs exposed and her husband at the time holding her boobs on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine, and she was always showing off her goods. So to suddenly act like she's this innocent person, and you know, it's to me, it's like, come on, this is an entertainment factor and it's been going on for way too long. And oh my, shut up, take it for what it was. It was a Super Bowl halftime show, one of the highest rated ones, and last night Justin Timberlake killed it, and his Prince tribute was awesome, and I don't care what anybody says, I enjoyed it. And I think next year Maroon 5 should headline it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. I agree. And what about that selfie kid? That just seemed to be like so random.
I felt like that kid didn't know how to take a selfie, and Justin Timberlake was like so gracious to keep taking that picture with that kid, because I kept seeing that kid fumble around because I think he was so shocked that Justin Timberlake went out in the audience, and the entire time he was in the audience, I was like, "Where's security? He's gonna get hurt. Someone's gonna kill him." And I kept seeing him try to help that kid and I thought that was so cool because like he didn't have to do that. He could have been like, "Well, okay, you kind of suck at taking selfies, so I'm gonna leave." But he like took his time, and I was like, "Wow, I wouldn't take that much time to do a selfie." But okay, cool. Like you are a normal guy. Now this kid is like in infamy for this one selfie. So awesome, kid. You are 13 and famous. Learn how to take a selfie next time.
Exactly. And then right after the Super Bowl was This Is Us, when we saw I don't know if you watched the show, but we finally saw how Jack died. And I was in tears. I was messaging my sister. I was messaging my friends. We're all crying. And it was just so beautifully done. And I swear, everyone in that show deserves to be nominated for something. But Mandy Moore was phenomenal. She knocked it out of the park. And if she doesn't get nominated for something next award season, it's going to be a travesty because she was amazing.
I watched like the first couple episodes with my mom, and I binge watched it. Now she watches it every week. And literally if 5 minutes of that show comes on, I'm already emotional watching it for 5 minutes that I have to turn it off because my emotions, I can't be that emotional as a person because I am kind of like dead inside. So I can't get those emotions out. It just hurts me inside to do that. So I have to just say no to that kind of sadness because it's just unnecessary sadness for me. Like I watched Grey's Anatomy the other night when they thought they were going to lose Dr. Bailey, and because to a heart attack, and I was like, I can't handle all the feels. I can't handle this. It's too much. My palpitations.
It's true though. All those shows they try to get you right in the feels, and it's just like sometimes it's a little too much. But last night, I just want to say, beautiful acting, great job by the cast, and there's Emmys, Golden Globes, what have you, all around because everybody was amazing. And I'm not going to ruin it because I know not everyone's watched it yet, but amazing. And you kind of figure out how he dies, but you kind of don't. But the way Mandy Moore's acting was spot on and absolutely amazing. I mean, I loved her from the beginning, and I would say she was a lovely singer. She was out at the same time as Christina and Brittany and Jessica Simpson. But, she was a lovely singer, but I think she's so much better as an actress, particularly as a dramatic actress. Amazing.
I still think it's kind of funny though that like my boyfriend bought a crock pot and then this happened and I was like, do you really want to go there with the crock pot? Like, do you still want to? And he was like really into making a recipe like the week of this whole shenanigans with the crock pot. And I was like, dude, do you know what happens with people who have crock pots? It doesn't end well.
Actually, it's funny you bring that up because I was at work the day after that episode aired, and for some reason, I guess someone left a crock pot during a Christmas party or something. But I walk into work and there's a crock pot there. This other girl and I were like, "This is really cruel. What are you doing? Why is there a crock pot here?" And our boss doesn't. The woman we were talking to, one of our supervisors, doesn't watch This Is Us, and she's like, "Why are you girls?" She's like, "What?" And we're like, "This is us. Why is there a crock pot? It's cruel."
Justice for Jack, people. No more justice for Janet. Justice for Jack. That's his name, right, Jack?
Yes, and he is an amazing man. We all need a man like Jack. He's just wonderful. I love him. Rest in peace, Jack Pearson.
It's a sad show. On a happier note, since we just went down the saddest lane ever.
For real.
Like that was like depressing as hell. Kylie Jenner was pregnant for the past 9 months, and she actually did have a baby that was not Kim's. And so yesterday, like probably maybe 2 or 3 hours before the Super Bowl, it was revealed that Kylie Jenner had a baby girl on February 1st with her boyfriend Travis Scott. If I've done the math properly, which I wouldn't quite bank on, but her and he were only together for maybe a month or two before she became pregnant with his baby. And she's 20 now. And yeah, she gave birth to a baby girl, and she released a statement saying that she wanted to keep it private because it was a very special time in her life and she didn't want stress, blah, 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 blah. We all thought it was just because she didn't want everyone to see her getting fat. And then she also released a video, which was a video for our daughter, which her friends and family had made to document her whole pregnancy. We actually got to see Kim's new baby Chicago or whatever the hell they named her. I give up at this point. In the video, and we got to see the delivery of the baby, and it was a really nice video. It was really sweet to see. But so yes, it is official. She is actually a mother, and I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't know either. And I heard, and I was just watching ET before we got on to our show, that there's a rumor going around that she named her kid Butterfly.
Okay, I have a problem with that.
So do with that what you may, because okay, Chicago, Saint, North, now Butterfly. At least Courtney gave her kids semi-decent names.
Okay, Hummingbird. Like who? Like, what do you do? Like, pick a random insect? Is that what you do? Like, okay, you're maybe like starts off as maybe it's because she started off as like a moth and evolved into this beautiful butterfly thanks to plastic surgery. I don't know. Like, that's a dumb name.
I hope it's a false rumor, because Butterfly?
She's 20. I mean, think about the names you wanted to name your kid when you were 20. Oh, shoot. It is probably true.
It would probably be true because, it's Hollywood, and we have we have people who name their kids Pilot Inspector and Guido and Cecil and Moon Unit.
Yeah, so, okay, it's official in my mind. Her name is Butterfly. The big question also, though, is where was Caitlyn Jenner through all of this whole situation? Because she was not in the birthing room when they did the video. So they were saying, like, okay, where was Kylie's dad during all of this? And we don't know if she has a strained relationship with her dad, or if it was just, they didn't want to put her out there during this time. But so nobody knows about that.
Pulling into Blanche Devereaux and getting a pedicure. Because remember when George was dying, Blanche was out getting a pedicure? She could have been Blanche Devereauing it up.
Maybe she was getting another facelift. That could be very possible because, Caitlyn loves them facelifts.
I don't know, but congratulations, Kylie. And as we continue on our congratulations tour, John Stamos got married.
He did. Unfortunately, the night before the wedding, their hotel room was robbed of like $167,000 worth of jewelry, which kind of puts a damper on the day.
Really.
But who cares? You're marrying John Stamos. So it's kind of like the whole I'm effing Matt Damon thing that Sarah Silverman did. So, like, who cares?
Exactly. I mean, I'd be pissed about the jewelry, but I would be having sex with John Stamos the rest of my life. I think I'd be okay.
Yeah, I mean, she's like 12 and gorgeous and pregnant and doesn't even look it. So go Caitlin McHugh. Like, you are awesome. Go you. Like, I don't even care that your jewelry has been stolen. You've already been caught by like one of like the world's most eligible bachelors. Like, he's like the George Clooney of Full House.
Exactly, of the 90s sitcoms.
Who cares? Like, that's so trivial to me. Like, whatever. You had like a dream wedding. I saw the pictures from the wedding, but I didn't see any of the cast there. I do know that Candace Cameron Bure was at the Super Bowl because she was Instagramming herself from the Super Bowl. So I don't know if she flew from John Stamos' house to Minneapolis, but
I don't know, but it seemed like they kept it a really small wedding. It just like there wasn't even a lot of pictures. I just remember seeing a couple of pictures and that was it. It seemed like they tried to keep it very quiet.
I'm sure that there'll be a more elaborate spread in People magazine.
Probably, but we have to look it up.
Yes, we have to see what's going on because, we have to be in the know when it comes to weddings.
Exactly, and what not to do and what not to wear, and dream that we were actually Mrs. John Stamos.
It's true, but actually it's Mrs. Jesse Katsopoulos.
Yes, I wonder if he says "have mercy" all the time.
If he does, I would be like, no, just stop. No, just no.
I would just want to know, just out of curiosity.
Remember that episode of Full House where he kept singing the Three's Company theme song to that goat that Michelle bought?
Yes.
But he couldn't remember the words, so he would be like, Three's Company too. And then finally he remembered the words at the very end.
Oh, God. And speaking of Fuller House is renewed for season 4.
Why?
So we can have more Uncle Jesse. Duh.
Why? That show, I want to like it, and I'm trying to like it, but I can't like it, and I hate that I can't like it because I feel I should, growing up with that show and having loved that show for all the years it was on, being so upset when the show ended, and I'm trying, but I can't like that show.
I don't know. We just got
It's
to
too
see what
cheesy.
happens to the baby. That's pretty
It's
much
too
all I'm
cheesy.
watching. Why?
I'm lactose intolerant, and it's just too cheesy for me.
That was good, actually. That was funny. But, speaking of revivals, I keep hearing rumors, and nothing's been confirmed yet, but rumors that they want to bring back Blossom, which is what we're discussing tonight. I mean, I don't know about you, but I was totally obsessed with that show as a kid.
Oh, totally. I had the hat. I had the dresses. I totally, I I didn't want to be Blossom. I wanted to be Six because I was short and I talk really fast. And she did end up getting to make out almost with Joey Lawrence at one point when they were trapped in a hotel. So yeah, I wanted to be her for
Yeah, I
sure.
think we all did. I think we all did. And the same thing, I was short and I speak super fast and apparently don't make any sense as I'm trying to speak fast, but I always found that funny. And then her mother was exactly like her. Especially when they had them in the same room speaking, they would just go so fast and and then once I found out the mother was Vicky from Full House, I just can no longer take her seriously.
Yeah, they were like the original Gilmore Girls. They were just so quick and witty and fast and quirky and silly and funny.
Exactly. And we were just watching the first episode of Blossom, which technically was the second episode because they had an unaired pilot where they have the parents divorce. But the first episode that actually made it to air was Blossom Blossoms, which we actually literally blossoms into a woman.
Blossom gets her period and she has no idea what to do because she lives in a house full of guys. It's her father and her older brother and her younger brother.
No,
And
Joey was older. They were both older than her.
they were
She was,
both older than her?
yeah.
I thought Joey was younger.
No, he was older. He was just a year older than she was because he was in the same grade as Vinny.
Whoa.
Whoa! He just played so stupid that you thought he was younger.
That was how it worked. So yeah, so she had two older brothers, and so she didn't know what to do when she got her period. She was kind of like, I don't know what to do. But she had her friend Six, who I feel like she hadn't even really gotten hers yet either, but she had a mother. And it's not like Blossom didn't have a mother. Her mother just wasn't in the States at the time when it happened. So she kind of was at a loss. And the thing about Blossom was that she liked to video diary her life. And that was her whole thing, was she was going to send it to her mother. That's how she communicated with her mother at the time, which was kind of how we FaceTime people now. She video diaried her mother. And so when she got, my favorite part of that entire first episode was when she had gotten tampons because she didn't really know what to use. And Six was trying to make everything seem so much better. And she's like, oh my God, you can horseback ride, you can swim, you can do this, you can do that. She's like, it's like going to camp.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And then I was like, no, it's really not.
It's nothing like going to camp, honey. Sorry to burst anybody's bubble, but it's so not.
Then I've been at camp for way too long.
Amen to that.
I
And
want a refund.
basically. And, but she didn't have her mom because her parents were divorced. Her mom lived in Paris. She would pretend that TV moms were her moms.
I used to pretend TV people were my siblings because I'm an only child.
Aww. Well, when my brother was born, I wanted a sister, and I was really upset that he wasn't a girl. So I used to pretend Jo from The Facts of Life was my sister, and I named all my dolls after her, too.
That's an odd pick for a sister. I would have picked Blair.
I don't know why. I just always liked Jo because I guess because she was a tough Bronx woman, Bronx girl, and I'm a tough Queens girl, that it just kind of fit.
Yeah, I used to pretend that Stacy and Renee from Kids Incorporated were my sisters because they were sisters on the show. So I would pretend they were my older sisters. And yeah, that was my thing. But yeah, I'm an only child, so I had nothing. And in terms of parents, my uncle used to tease me and pretend that my biological parents were Eminem and Angela Lansbury.
It's just like so random.
He would pick random people and pretend they were my parents, and he just stuck with those for like 10 years. And after a while, I was just kind of like, okay, cool, whatever you say.
It's too funny. But yeah, and then as the show goes on, you get to see her relationships with her dad and her brothers, and it's actually cute because she was actually really close and they really looked out for her.
She had a very smart older brother who looked pretty much like her. Um, they were very awkward looking siblings, so that it worked really well because she was very awkward. She was kind of like a Molly Ringwald character, if you will, because she looked like she was in that odd phase. It was played by Maya Bialik, who everybody knows as Amy Farrah Fowler from Big Bang Theory, and her brother was just very odd looking as well. But then she had this like insanely gorgeous brother, Joey Lawrence, and you were like, well, where did he come from? But he looked most like the father, I think, because the father was Ted Wasp, but he had this great hair and kind of, it was like, was he like a jazz musician or something? Like he was very like suave.
Yeah, he was a jazz musician because that always came up that he was always playing music, and then he was broke for a while because he wasn't getting any music gigs. There was a music strike.
They
So
had a
that
nice house.
I know. I was wondering how they could afford that on a musician's thing. I used to date a musician, and no way they make that kind of money unless you're really, really big.
Yeah, like they make like $30 a gig, if that. Sometimes they get paid in alcohol. So yeah, he had like this banging house in this suburban area, and Blossom was known for her hats. She would wear these like floppy-ish hats, like velvety hats. They'd flip up, and they'd always have a big like sunflower right here, so you couldn't miss her. And maybe that's why sunflowers are my favorite because like they were just super big. And then Six would wear the same hats, and they always wear those like kind of like blousy like dresses. And that's when like leggings weren't leggings; they were called like skins. And
Oh shit,
it
we're
was
old.
always
As
it was
I curse on air, sorry. We're old.
it's okay. I don't care. And they were just very everything was very floral. That was big in the like early 90s. It was floral to the max.
Yeah, I was looking back on it. I'm like, I can't believe I wore some of that stuff, but I can't imagine not wearing it back then.
I mean, the hats were great because
I
like it
love
didn't
the
matter
hat.
what your hair looked like. Because I had big hair,
So did
I
I.
had really thick hair, and I know you had really thick hair too. So it's like it kept the thickness down.
Exactly. And it always used to make me so mad that when I was in class, my teachers always used to make us take our hats off.
I never had to do that because I lived down south, and in Florida when we lived there, like the humidity made your hair even bigger, and I
Hmm.
have thick Russian curly hair, so wearing that hat was just kind of like a protective barrier against all of that.
Fair enough. I wish my teachers would have thought of that because I still had the big hair and I had the 90s perm and all that fun stuff.
You had a perm. I
I
heard perms are making a comeback though, so I mean, you could
Yeah,
technically.
I tried getting one again a few years ago, and it just did not work out. My hair, the kind of hair I have, it just frizzes out. So yeah, it
You
didn't
had
work
a
for me.
perm.
Yeah, I don't know. It reminded me of that episode of the Golden Girls where they all went to get their hair done by that
At the
hot.
old lady salon, and they all ended up with like this say with the we were watching the Golden Girls this weekend, and it was the episode where this is totally off topic, but kind of on topic because we just brought it up because we can't not say something about it. We were watching the episode where Dorothy thinks Sophia needs a hearing aid,
Yes, I was watching that
and
too yesterday. Right?
it was on yesterday. It was on, and then it was because my boyfriend and I were watching it. I think Saturday night, and then yesterday we woke up and it was on again. He goes, "Well, this on last night," and I was like, "Honey, because like you don't understand. They'll play it over and over and over again until you have seen them like 150 times." And I just love that like Sophia's walking around. Every time Sophia would come on the TV, because this is his first time really watching the show because he didn't grow up with it. Every time Sophia comes on the TV, he just starts laughing. Everything she says, everything she does, he just starts laughing. And when she had the megaphone, because Dorothy ended up using the hearing aid, tell her what the doctor said. He's just dying. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm like, I'm going to be like Sophia when I grow up.
Apparently, I'm already there. I mean, I had a coworker once, that insisted it up until the day I left that job would call me Sophia. He would switch between calling me Sophia and calling me Carla from Cheers, which I totally don't get, but
I get that. I get that. And it's because you probably have the perm.
no, I didn't have the part at the time either. I don't know what he was thinking. Wasn't Carla the slut on Cheers?
Carla was was Rita.
Rita Perlman.
Yeah, Rita Perlman. I don't know why I call her Rita. Rita Perlman. Yeah, because you're little and you're probably like really snarky to him. So he probably was just like, okay, fine, cheers, lady. Like,
Well, I guess it kind of fits. I'm short and sassy and loud.
so there you go. Hello, and now you're questioning why anybody would call you that. Like, for reals. And I'm a straight up B to the EH, so I'm Sophia.
There you go.
And now with my concussion, I'm like Rose. So
are you start telling St. Olaf stories now?
I am. This morning, I was drying my hair, and it almost came out of my mouth. I'm not gonna lie. I almost said, "Picture it, Connecticut, 2018," and then I said, "Don't do it, Mandy, because once you start, you're not gonna stop. It's like a potato chip."
Yeah, oh my god, you can't not go through a day without quoting the Golden Girls.
I can't, and it's bad when I started watching it again, because now we finally have TV Land, because for a while we didn't have TV Land, we only had Logo, and they play the Golden Girls, and now we have TV Land, but we don't have Logo anymore, so I'm like kind of bummed, because I don't know what happened with our TV. So now we have TV Land, so Golden Girls always on, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's my future. But see, I don't really want that to be my future, because I want to have a husband until I'm like 90, and then move to Miami. I don't want to move to Miami when I'm like 50, because my husband died.
Well, you could remarry and be like Dorothy. She ended up with a husband at the end.
Yeah, but her kids were already grown up, because she'd been married to Stan for 38 years.
Yes, and we still never figured out the mystery of which kid was conceived in the car or on prom night or how many other times that they did it.
And
Next on Unsolved Mysteries.
She was supposed to be married to somebody else too, because remember, she could have married that other guy, but then he came to the door and he looked like a hoodlum, so Sophia sent him away.
Oh, she would have been better off with the hoodlum dude. What was his name? I don't even remember.
John something. John Delvecchi.
Yeah, I think that might be right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
We'll go with that. And there's something great about him. He had Roman nose. He was gorgeous, and he came and he took her to the prom again. And
the second chance prom. I never even had a first prom.
Enchanted.
One enchanted evening.
Yes.
Wear a condom.
Yeah. That age, they didn't need him anymore.
Oh boy. But going back to Blossom, another interesting thing I found about the show was back then they were really open about the fact that her older brother Anthony was a recovering drug addict and alcoholic. I mean, they really went there with it, where it was very open, and they were very big into his recovery.
Yeah, I mean, they talked about those kinds of things, because I think it couldn't have been a perfect family. I mean, they were already didn't have the mother. They had kind of a dumb brother who was kind of smart, kind of dumb, and then they had her, and they had to have a fly, because I think they realized that with Roseanne emerging, there was no way that they could have perfection. Even on Full House, they kind of went there with the whole DJ, that time when she wasn't eating for a couple of days, and she's like a eating disorder. Yeah, like they realized they had to go these places because shows were getting a little bit more real. And that's not real.
Yeah, what I liked about Blossom is every problem was not necessarily solved in 30 minutes. I mean, they still had
problems. Her name Blossom.
What?
They named the kid Butterfly, and we're wondering why a kid's name was Blossom.
Or Six. I mean, they said it took 6 beers, which is kind of an insult to poor Six, but
See, you're silly, because earlier you're like, who named their kid Butterfly? And then you're like, now we're going to talk about a show called Blossom.
Fair enough, fair enough. But I never said I liked the name. I just said I liked the show. I never said I liked the name.
I think the father was a recovering alcoholic and drug addict if he was going to name his child Blossom.
They were no, they were hippies, I think. Remember? I think they mentioned that they were hippies or something.
Blossom. That's not a name. It's a flower.
I don't know. It's the name of a Powerpuff Girl, but come on now.
Blossom. I'm upset about that show because that's not a name. That's unrealistic expectations. She ended up with a really hot guy, and he was gorgeous.
But they ended up together at the end. They ended up breaking up.
No, he ended up dating Sabrina the Teenage Witch instead, and her name was Blossom. Like, my name's not Blossom.
Maybe you should change your name to Blossom.
I'm going to. And everyone's going to have to call me Blossy with an I.
Yeah, but I just like the fact that nothing was necessarily solved in 30 minutes. I mean, it was real issues that they dealt with. And I think that out of all the sitcoms that we watched back then, it was one of the more realistic ones because it's stuff that we went through when we were in high school.
But there was no sex on that show.
That's because Mayim Bialik didn't want to. She had it in her contract. She didn't want her character having sex.
Well, somebody should have had sex.
They kind of alluded that Joey did, and they kind of alluded that Six did. Not together, obviously, but they kind of alluded to it, but they didn't bring it up. But they didn't in the house either.
That would have made it more realistic if somebody had been having sex, don't you think?
No, they did. They mentioned that Joey had sex.
But I think that I would have... Remember when they ended one of the episodes and they were like, and now, like, and Joey, like, had a dream, and it was when they released his new music video for Nothing My Love Can't Fix.
Yes. Oh, I had that on my iPod for the longest time. I think I still have it on my iPod that I still have at my mom's house. I swear I still have that song somewhere. And I used to play it all the time. I even played it in one of the singing classes I taught.
Yep, I had the cassette of that. Yes. And I remember that video, and I remember being like, oh, this is the best song ever. And now you can't even download it on iTunes because I've tried. I'm not going to lie. And I'm like, oh, that's such a good song.
Yes. And did you have pictures of Joey Lawrence all over your room too, like posters and stuff?
I think I may have after I saw him in person, because when we were in Disney World, him and his brothers did a, I don't know if you remember outside of where they used to have the Hollywood movie ride, which they don't have anymore. They had an area where they could sign their names in like a Grauman's Chinese Theater, and the three brothers did a signing, and so I got to see them do that. And I think around that time was when I had like all of their stuff around my room. But I wasn't big into like those kind of posters. I kind of had, like the Devon Sawa and the Jonathan Jackson and those kind of posters.
I had all of them. I had the boy bands. I had the Lawrence brothers. I had Devon Sawa. You name it, I had it. I would just buy the magazines every week and
I totally bought the magazines every week. I was definitely big into Marky Mark. That was like my big crush. I think I liked really old men.
I never got into him for some reason. I don't know why. But now he's Mark Wahlberg.
I watched Fear when I was 13.
Okay.
And that was just when it just like sealed it for me. Like he and I were meant to be together, and he just didn't realize it. So, yeah. And then obviously my obsession with Rob Thomas was going to be 46 on Valentine's Day. So, yeah.
Oh gosh, remember those days when you just put all those posters up and bought all those magazines, and they don't make. And speaking of the Lawrence brothers, what the heck happened to Andy? I mean, you see Matthew Lawrence every once in a while. He did a Lifetime movie last year.
You see Cheryl Burke.
Yes, he's dating her. They dated 10 years ago. It was bad timing, and then they got back together, and they're adorable together. I love following them both on Instagram because they're just like the sweetest couple ever. And Cheryl, like Matt, is super gorgeous, and they're going to have beautiful babies one day. And Joey's off doing his thing. I know he's making music. He has a couple of other projects going on. But what the heck happened to Andy? Did he like drop off the face of the earth or something?
Well, he was kind of funny looking. I'm not going to lie.
I thought they all looked exactly the same.
He did not look like any of them. So I think that may have been the problem. That he was just funny looking. So he went away.
We need to find out what happened to him. Hashtag find Andy Lawrence.
It's kind of like the Menudo thing. When you get to a certain age, you are kind of exiled.
Menudo, where Ricky Martin got his big break.
And Ricky Martin, where are you now? Oh yes, you're playing Versace's lover.
He's still a beautiful man, though. Ricky
Ah, I live in La Vida Loca.
Martin. I loved all his music. I loved his music videos, and I think I'm the last person that finally realized he was gay. I had no idea until he actually came out and was like,
No, I wouldn't admit it to myself. Kind of like Adam Lambert, still not gay.
I just don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, okay, but it never really entered my mind to think about it one way or another. I'm just like, I love him. I love his music, and it's
Until
whatever. You
Adam
know, he's
Lambert
happy. I'm
marries a
happy.
man, he's straight.
Who's straight?
Adam Lambert. Until he marries a man, he's still straight to me.
Adam Lambert's another good one. Got his start at American Idol.
I will always believe that, like, if he met me, he'd be like, oh my gosh, this is the woman I've been waiting for. And then everything would change for him. Then I realized that I'm thinking highly unrealistically, and then it would all just end.
And what would your boyfriend say about this?
I'm sorry, he doesn't have to know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh.
No,
It was the days when, our celebrity crushes were just.
celebrity crushes, and we didn't have to worry if they were gay, straight, or any of that stuff. They were just ours. And, I mean, for guys, it doesn't matter because most guys, like, if you ask any of the guys, oh, would you care if your female celebrity crush that she was lesbian or whatever, they'd be like, oh, no, I think that was hot. Whereas with us girls, like, when we found out some of ours, like, growing up, were gay, like it they crushed us because we were like, now we can never marry them. Like, I remember the devastation for some girls when Lance Bass came out. It
Oh,
was
my
like,
sister and I called her and told her, and for the longest time, we were just like, she called me back, and she's like, oh my God. And she had a picture the longest time on her Facebook and her MySpace where she had a picture of her getting the news, listening to my voicemail, finding out that Lance Bass was gay. And she even captioned it. At the moment this picture was taken, I had found out Lance Bass was gay.
even like Jordan Knight's brother Jonathan, like, finding out that he was gay, it was like, I think as you get older, you're like, wow, if I had known that when I was a kid, like, my dreams really would have been crushed. I remember the one that was hard for me because it happened in the same week. It was Lance Bass, which wasn't really like a dream crusher for me because I was like, it wasn't even that cute. But it was him, and at the same time, it was Darren Hayes, the lead singer from Savage Garden. And I
I
know
forgot about him.
I used to think he was so freaking hot. And when I found out that he was marrying a man, I was like, I've been lied to. My life is a
What
lie.
happened to him? Does he do anything anymore?
He released a solo album, and now I think he tours just on his own, but he married this guy and they live alone in, I think, Australia, and he lives a relatively quiet life. He still has like a social media presence. He retweeted something that I tweeted to him, no big deal. But it's like those were those things that, like, for women or for girls, big deal. Even like I know a lot of people with George Michael, that was huge. Elton John, that was huge. It was like, why? Like, I think we all kind of knew, but we didn't want to admit it.
Like I said, I never thought about it either way. I was just like, yeah, it's whatever. I never really gave any of that any kind of thought. I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. But yeah, a little disappointed. Like, even though I knew realistically I had no chance of marrying them, whether they were gay or straight. But I was just like, oh, okay, it's whatever. But it's not like I spent time thinking, is this one this straight? Is this one whatever? But I never gave it much thought. I was just like, oh, I like them. I think they're very good looking, and I want them to be my husband. But I knew in reality, no matter what happened, it was never going to happen anyway.
But
Even
I kind of look at it like this. Like, I'm glad that they're, like, some of them are gay, because then I know that, like, I really had no chance. It wasn't just me. It was all women had no chance.
although the one I really want to marry is Apollo Ono. I still want to marry him one day. He doesn't know it, but he's going to be my husband one day.
Oh no, Sammy, no, no, no. Can't you go back to that fixer-upper boy guy, that guy with the property brother guy? Can't you go back to him?
Sure.
Two
I can
of
be
them. I
married
approve
multiple
of one
times.
of them. Not Apollo. Oh no, pick some. Oh no, pick someone else.
What's wrong with my Apollo?
I don't have time to make a list.
But going back, I want to, go back to the topic. When men find out that their celebrity crushes are lesbians, I realize that, they don't really care. They're just like, oh, okay.
More fun for me.
No, they
Whereas
don't
I'm
even go
like,
that. My best guy friend, he is a huge fan of Ellen Page and found out she was gay, and he's like, oh, okay. Guess I don't have a chance now. And not even if I did, she's in Canada or wherever, but.
and we're all like, when we find out about our guys, we're like, oh
The
no,
world ends. Why is it so different for men and women? I mean, is it? We know all realistically we're never going to marry these people, but women freak out when their celebrity crushes come out. But when men's celebrity crushes come out, they just don't care.
because men still think that, well, if she sees me, she's going to love me. Like how I feel about Adam Lambert. When he sees me, he's going to love me. You have to understand it's the Adam Lambert mentality.
How did we even get on this topic in the first place?
I don't know.
We're talking about you meeting Joey Lawrence and what happened to Andy Lawrence, and all of a sudden we're talking about celebrity crushes that came out of the closet.
And that's the end of our show, folks. If you have a celebrity crush who came out of the closet, please at TV Unleashed 1 or Instagram us at TV Unleashed or Facebook us at TV Unleashed. You can pretty much find us anywhere. So we want to hear about your celebrity crushes that crashed, because that is our favorite. We're going to be posting ours in the next couple of days. I'll post mine tomorrow. My celebrity crushes that crashed.
Top 10 list of celebrity crushes that crashed.
Yeah, that's kind of where it all just circles. Who you thought your love was gonna blossom, and it just yeah.
Yeah, I'll admit this one on air. The Dell guy.
Exactly. Oh my god. Okay. Sammy's gonna be seeking help for the next couple of weeks, so we won't be seeing her. It's gonna be just the Mandy show.
No.
It's gonna be great. She's gonna be in because Apollo. Oh no, the Dell. What the hell? And I thought I had bad taste in celebrities. Okay, yeah.
Okay, let me give you one of your bad celebrity crushes then.
I have none because I have great taste.
Okay, name one that's a great taste.
I'm thinking. They're all so great, I can't pick one. Well, I just can't.
Name at least one then.
Rob Thomas, he's great.
Of course, but that doesn't count because we already knew that.
Oh, okay, fine. Russell Brand.
What? He looks like a walking STD.
Maybe I like walking STDs.
Why don't you just say Charlie Sheen and be done with it?
He and I share a birthday, Charlie Sheen, so we're fellow Virgos.
You have a thing for Charlie Sheen?
No, but we're winning, duh.
Did you drink tiger's blood too?
Last week I did.
Did you really now?
Don't judge me.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
You're judging.
I don't understand the tiger's blood.
You're judging and I'm offended. But it's okay, because we all know where your bread is buttered, Miss Ono.
Hey, I like the sound of that. All right, anyway, we are out of time, and we'll be back next Sunday at 7 o'clock at our usual time slot. Thank you for tuning in, and enjoy. Bye.